I got Tank. I got Tank winning that fight. He just got to be on defense in the early.
A highly anticipated fight between Gervonta Tank Davis and Lamont Roach Jr., which took place on December 14th at the Toyota Center in Houston, sparked both excitement and disappointment among boxing fans. Social media was abuzz with trash talk, creating a hype that saw not only the two fighters, but also their fans and trainers involved in fueling the growing tension. It became clear that this fight was more than just a match between two fighters. It had become a heated rivalry between their cities, especially with Davis hailing from Baltimore and Roach representing Washington, D.C. From the start, the atmosphere surrounding the fight had been charged with animosity. Tank Davis, known for his explosive knockout power, had always been a dominant force in the lightweight division. But Roach, who was making the leap in weight class to 135 pounds, wasn't about to back down from the challenge. The trash-talking exchanges between Davis and Roach were intense and personal, with both men refusing to let up. For Davis, the fight was another chance to showcase his supremacy in the ring. For Roach, it was the opportunity to prove his worth and silence the critics who doubted his ability to defeat one of boxing's biggest stars. The battle between Davis and Roach gained extra attention when Frank Martin, a fellow contender, sent a stern warning to Roach. Martin, who had fought Davis previously and was dominated by the Baltimore fighter, advised Roach not to step into the ring with Tank, believing that Roach simply lacked the skill and determination needed to defeat the undefeated champion. Martin's cautionary words were blunt and straightforward. "I don't think he has what it takes to put Tank down." This warning was a clear indication that even respected fighters knew the immense challenge of facing Davis. Despite the warning, Roach remained undeterred. His recent 6-fight win streak since his loss to Jamel Herring in 2019 showed that he was on the rise, and his confidence was evident as he entered the final stretch leading up to the fight. He had been vocal on social media, confidently stating that he wasn't just another stepping stone for Davis, a sentiment that made headlines across boxing communities. Roach's message was clear: "You must think I'm one of them regular dudes you fought. Cut it out." His refusal to be intimidated or to play the role of the underdog was evident as he boldly declared his intentions to show the world that he was far more than just a challenger. For Tank Davis, the criticism surrounding his fight against Roach was familiar territory. Some fans criticized him for taking on a fighter who wasn't as well known as his previous opponents, while others pointed to Roach's move up in weight as evidence that Davis was handpicking an easier opponent. But Davis's track record spoke for itself. His dominance in the ring, especially in his last fight against Frank Martin in June, had proven his power, speed, and ability to close out fights with devastating knockouts. In that fight, Davis displayed his brutal knockout power, leaving Martin overwhelmed in the middle rounds before finishing him off with a violent KO. Roach, however, was not about to let the criticism affect him. He believed that his boxing pedigree, which included being a 7-time national champion, was enough to make him a formidable opponent. He entered the ring with the knowledge that while he wasn't as well known as some of Tank's previous foes, his skill set was on par with the best. His victory over Hector Garcia the previous November had cemented his place as a legitimate contender, and he was more than ready to prove that his skill and experience could take down one of the best in the business. Despite his confidence, the fight itself was always going to be a daunting task for Roach. While he had shown marked improvement in his recent fights, many analysts and fans still believe that he lacked the power and the tools necessary to challenge Davis. Davis was known for his knockout power, with a near-perfect record of 28 knockouts in 30 professional fights. His combination of speed, precision, and power was a deadly trifecta that had earned him a reputation as one of the most feared fighters in boxing. This made the challenge that Roach faced even greater. However, Roach was confident in his own ability to go the distance with Davis. He wasn't going to be another Frank Martin, who had shown a great deal of confidence before his fight, but was ultimately overwhelmed by Tank's relentless assault. Roach insisted that he was a different kind of fighter, one with more experience and a better ring IQ. "I'm not Frank Martin," Roach would repeatedly assert in interviews, making it clear that he believed his skills and experience were on another level. While Frank Martin was known for his speed and technique, Roach saw himself as a more versatile fighter, one who could make adjustments during the fight and outsmart his opponent. Martin had relied on his speed and precision, but Roach believed that his cerebral approach would serve him better against Davis. While his knockout record wasn't as impressive, 10 knockouts in 25 wins, Roach was known for his sharp defense and durability. He had never been knocked down or seriously hurt in a fight, which gave him confidence that he could withstand the onslaught that Davis was likely to bring. Roach's ability to absorb punches was one of the key factors he was banking on in this fight. Davis was known for breaking down his opponents with his immense power, but Roach had never been knocked out, which set him apart from fighters like Frank Martin, who had been overwhelmed by Davis's relentless style. Roach's confidence was partly based on his experience and his belief that his chin could handle the kind of punishment Davis was known to dish out. However, sparring with Davis in the past had shown him that Tank's power was something to be reckoned with. Those sparring sessions are rarely an accurate representation of what happens in the ring during a full-fledged professional bout. For many fans, the outcome of this fight was a foregone conclusion. Davis had become a dominant force in the lightweight division, and the general consensus was that he would make quick work of Roach. This perception was only amplified by the fact that Roach had faced Davis twice before in amateur bouts and had lost both times by decision. The losses, however, hadn't broken Roach's spirit. Instead, they had motivated him, and he was determined to make sure that this time he wouldn't fall short. "I've got the same skill level as Tank. I've got the same experience as Tank," Roach insisted, emphasizing that he believed his ring IQ and experience were more than enough to get him the victory. Despite his confidence, the fact remained that Roach would be facing one of the most dangerous fighters in the sport today. Davis's track record spoke for itself, and while Roach believed in his skills, many felt that his confidence might be his downfall, just as it had been for Frank Martin. Tank had already proven time and again that his power and skill were levels above his competitors, and many doubted that Roach had what it took to dethrone him. The rivalry between the two fighters had taken a personal turn, with the two exchanging barbs on social media and beyond. It started with Roach attempting to provoke Davis by suggesting that he would need to spar with heavier opponents to prepare for their bout. Tank responded with characteristic coolness, telling Roach to save the trash talk for the ring. What followed was an ongoing war of words that only intensified the drama leading up to the fight. Roach tried to draw Davis into more exchanges, even linking their rivalry to the NFL by mocking Davis's hometown team, the Baltimore Ravens, and trying to draw a connection between the football game and his upcoming bout with Tank. This only served to fuel the tension between the two fighters. But while the trash talk and social media jabs made for entertaining drama, the reality of the fight was much more serious. Tank Davis had already proven himself as one of the most dominant fighters in the sport. His ability to take out opponents with brutal knockouts and his unyielding pressure made him a dangerous adversary for anyone in the division. For Lamont Roach, this fight was not just about the opportunity for a payday, it was about proving that he could stand among the best in the sport. As the fight night drew closer, it was clear that both fighters were locked in, but only one could emerge victorious. Roach was confident, but the odds were stacked against him. Despite his impressive streak and belief in his abilities, the world was still watching Tank Davis, waiting to see if the undefeated champion could continue his reign or if Roach would pull off the unthinkable upset. The fight, fueled by personal rivalries and heated exchanges, promised to be more than just another boxing match. It was a battle for respect, legacy, and supremacy in the lightweight division.